process. For the filming process, we had to film, well, I had to film, so we're walking into a room, having a conversation with someone else that was currently already in the room, and I had to use multiple different kind of a variety of shots, like match and action, the 180-degree rule, and shot reverse shot. Shot reverse shot was easy enough to use. I don't think we displayed it as well as we could have done, but I put it down to really bad photography use, as I'd never used one of these types of cameras before. So the shot reverse shot had to be like, it would cut from one person to another. So like, say me and Cameron were talking, it would show Cameron talking, and then it would flick to me talking, and then back to Cameron. We did that about once with Idle and Kit, where it starts on Kit and then it changes to Idle really quickly. I felt that we did that all right, but there were still some things I'd like to change about how it could have gone back and forth multiple times in order to show that we can really, use the editing skills quite well. However, I'd like to say that we did make up for them in other places. With the 180-degree rule, we kept the one side of the line of the Idle was going through the door. So as he comes through the door, we kind of kept to the right-hand side of him in order to show that he's, making steps towards his journey. Whereas if we would have showed him going on the left side, it would have showed him going backwards. You also have to do this when people are talking with the shot reverse shot. If you change to if you have it on the right side when they're talking, you flick. You keep on the right side, it'll look like they're actually facing each other. But if you change to the left side halfway through that, it'll look like they're both facing the same direction, which doesn't make it look like a conversation at all. So we had to kind of keep to the right hand side. And it doesn't have to be the right hand side, you can also do it on the left hand side. I just chose the right hand side. No idea why. So the filming process itself was fairly easy. We just had to find a room big enough to fit everything we needed in. Obviously we got quite a fairly big room, but I think with the kind of layout of the room and all the tables and everything that were in it, we didn't really have a chance to show off kind of pan that we wanted and various other shots. But I still think we kind of showed off a lot, so I'm hoping it's alright on that front. I'd say overall the filming process was okay. Obviously there were things I could have changed. Do you think it was alright?
Yeah, it was really good.
There were obviously technical difficulties and stuff like that with it. Obviously the late table and stuff like that, but the editing process. Uploading it was fairly easy. Just to plug a little wire that went from the back of the camera to the Mac. You weren't there for the filming or uploading process, were you? So it was kind of left for me to do on my own, but I made sure that he did quite a lot of editing and stuff like that. So in time we kind of did it evenly. It was fairly easy putting something onto the Mac. I've never done it before, but I kind of got to grips with it and kind of grasped how to use it fairly well. I don't think it was too hard, and the only problem was that if you didn't upload the right bit of footage and then deleted all of the footage that you had on your camera, which we were told to do, you'd lose that bit of footage that you want. For example, in the bad edits scene, or in the bad edits take, I suppose, he'd walk through a door, smiled at the camera, and then walked back out, and what he was meant to do was just carry on walking to show that he's taking multiple steps towards his journey. But he doesn't, obviously, and then the actual take that we wanted to use was wiped. So there's something there with the uploading process, but I think I'm going to put that down to me being quite clumsy with it. I don't think you have to do much uploading. I think you started at the kind of beginning of the editing stage.
Yeah.
So putting it onto the Mac was fairly easy. I think it was just kind of me mucking up that obviously hindered us, but we still got all decent footage on there. We're still showing off. The filming process was fairly easy, and the quality of the camera was nothing to be worried about. We still got fairly decent shots to it. You're kind of seeing now the quality is really clear, and we obviously zoom as well is really good as well. So we can talk about the editing process.
The editing process was fairly easy, even though we were using a pretty advanced software, the Final Cut Pro 10. We tried to make the shots look as continuous as possible and that the viewer would not be confused, so we kept to the 180-degree rule, and we used match on action. We also added music to give a bit of context to what was happening in the scenes. Like, we have some build-up music, which was Kashmir by Led Zeppelin, for when they were walking through the door and towards the table, but as soon as you sat down you could sense a tone of awkwardness, so there's a fairly supporting piece of music in the background that kind of points out the fact that it's awkward.
Which is Fluffing a Duck by Kevin McLeod, because as you'll see the acting is really awkward, but I'm not going to put that down to them being bad actors. It's just, kind of didn't really know what they were doing.
But overall the editing was fairly simple, even though I'd basically come in just for the editing part. I found it pretty easy to pick up, and I think we did a fairly good job with the shots that we had to make a fairly decent film.
In conclusion to the whole process, filming, uploading, editing, and the kind of final touch-ups here and there, I'd say it ran fairly smoothly. There were obviously a few things that we've addressed that we could have done better, or perhaps that could have been sorted out before we started filming. I think most of it was just kind of getting used to the school for me as well, because I'd never been in this place before, so kind of learning different places that have different sound quality and actual video quality was fairly fun. And actually we tried a couple of different rooms in the filming process where everything was different, and we tried a different variety of kind of sizes of rooms as well, so we tried quite an open one now is what we're in. We also tried a really compact one. That didn't work so much, they kept getting really hot in there when we were trying to film the intro stage. I think the editing process, it went fairly well. We both had quite a lot of input there. With the music as well, I think the music itself was Cameron's idea. I think I only chose Kashmir by Led Zeppelin. We also used pieces of music that were currently on Final Cut Pro, and the uploading process was fairly easy as well. I'd say that's it. Anything else to add?